Growing up in Rio Grande do Sul, that he would manage both Grêmio and Inter.
Yes.
Gives you an idea of the respect that he has. And on the Argentine side, Lionel Scaloni, the 40-year-old, and gives you an idea, came up around the same time as Lionel Messi out of Newell's Old Boys. But while Scaloni joined Newell's as a pro around that same year, Lionel Messi was moving on to Barcelona to join La Masia and start his legendary career. Would not be surprised if part of the decision behind Scaloni stepping in as the interim boss was to try and keep those ties to Messi open. He's been joined by Pablo Aimar and Walter Samuel, two of the legends of Argentina's past, as they work on their future. The Albiceleste from right to left. Live from the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. Again, 89 degrees, 62% humidity, and light winds from the north to try and cool things off. The five-time world champions wearing the canary yellow and blue, defending the goal to the left, and Felipe Luis with a nice bit of trickery. Jose Hernandez, Pablo Marinho on our Spanish language side. Phil Shane alongside George D. Metellus. Glad you could join us here as we are geared for battle. And as I mentioned, the fans already making a lot of noise when Argentina and Brazil go toe-to-toe. Always seems you're maybe one touch away from greatness.
We've already seen a couple of great touches early on in this match. Neymar with a smooth touch, Felipe Luis with a great little touch to get himself into a little bit of space. Both of these teams have magnificent footballers who are brilliant with the ball at their feet. And you mentioned the assistant coaches for Argentina. Pablo Aimar, a great attacking player going forward. Walter Samuel, a legendary defender for Inter. So you have a couple of experienced players on the bench for Argentina that can help figure some things out in attack and also help with the brain trust in terms of tightening the Argentine defense. And Lionel Scaloni might be actually, this match could determine if he gets the job permanently. He is an interim manager. There isn't, don't know who's going to be the man in charge permanently. So maybe Scaloni, this is a chance for him to win the job.
You know what? Beat Brazil. It's nice on the resume.
Absolutely.
Stripped away far side by the near debutant Renzo Saravia. The Racing right back picking Neymar's pocket.
Saravia is going to be very key in this match. Obviously, with Neymar on that left side of the Brazilian attack, the right side of the Argentine defense. If he can do his best and make sure Neymar doesn't have that much influence, if he can find a way to neutralize Neymar, which is almost impossible, and just keep Neymar in front of him, that will help the Argentine defense out a lot, because it's a very slow center back duo of Otamendi and Petzela.
Only his second match for Brazil. His first against Guatemala in a 3-0 for Argentina. His first against Guatemala last September. 3-0 victory. This will be a little bit stiffer test.
Yes. I think the Brazil under-20s would be a stiffer test than in Guatemala, but still, you got to get that international experience, and he's getting it.
Otamendi returns alongside Petzela, the two big men. See also, again, the intriguing positioning. And the fact that this is a friendly against a respected foe, giving both managers the chance to shake things up a bit. Paredes and Batalla, which one is going to stay back? Does Paredes push up? What does that do for Dybala? Does he play alongside Lo Celso or opposite Correa? Is Icardi going to be the lone man up front, or does Dybala keep him company? So many questions for Argentina. And again, for Brazil, very similar. Gabriel Jesus and Roberto Firmino on the field at the same time. Yeah. Firmino,
he's the center forward. And they're putting Gabi Jesus out wide on the right. That is unusual, because basically during the World Cup, it was Firmino who was substituting for Gabi Jesus at the center forward role. Now they're putting them both together. So that's something to watch, how those two work together. But Gabi Jesus out wide is unusual.
Under pressure, Neymar gets flipped into touch, and the whistle blows. It'll be a free kick for Brazil. Then you have Philippe Coutinho, who tends to play up front, except when Neymar's around. And when he does, Arthur tends to slot into the midfield. Now all three of them are out on the field at the same time. And it looks as though Arthur playing back alongside Casemiro. So maybe a bit of a 4-2-4.
Yeah. Going
back to Brazil's Pelé-like roots.
And the big thing for Brazil, if they're going to play, if that's how it's going to morph, then they have to, first of all, they have to get the ball out of the defensive third here and maintain the possession. We saw Argentina with a little bit of possession. Neymar in the space, but also he has to play with his teammates here.
Out wide, Danilo gets the start here today. There's Gabriel Jesus running into Nicolas Tagliafico. The Ajax left back has been even wearing the captain's armband, but today passing that responsibility off. Felix Quick calls the foul as Neymar taken down in the midfield, and Paredes getting a talking to.
Yeah, he definitely clipped Neymar there. That's part of the rivalry. Getting physical. See Neymar dropping back, obviously because of who he is. He has that liberty to go where he wants to go on the pitch. And it's looking like Argentina right now, they have to foul him in order to stop him, but
Neymar just 26, his 94th cap, which moves him in to a 10th place tie with Gilmar dos Santos, ex-Timao and Santos, back with 3 World Cups, and at least for a while the best goalkeeper Brazil had ever produced. Alisson and Ederson trying to put that in the past as well. Perhaps even more historically, Neymar continuing his climb up the scoring charts as we look at Scaloni. Neymar now with 59 goals, just 3 back of Ronaldo, and 18 back of Pelé, and at 26, probably a lot of goals still to come. A push in the midfield. This time the foul going Batalha's way. Free kick in the center circle for the Albiceleste.
And for Argentina, we've seen Brazil, Neymar getting a lot of touches. He's obviously going to be the one that the offense, the attack will flow through. For Argentina, who will that be? Of course, Argentina, they've had their fair share of great number 10s. No Messi, so expect them to, I would suspect, get Correa and Dybala more involved with touches out wide.
Tagliafico, one touch, top of the 18, thied away, blasted low, charging in Lo Celso. Casemiro a little casual with the clearance, and Argentina almost makes him pay.
And Giovanni Lo Celso, unmarked, able to get into a little bit of space. Good ball out wide. Otamendi able to find Tagliafico making that deep run. And Lo Celso, we've seen him bury these shots for Argentina and for PSG. He's on loan to Real Betis. He knows that he could have done better, but still good for Argentina going forward. They've been able to find that little bit of space in the middle. That's something that's got to tighten up. You wonder where Casemiro was on that play.
Well, this is a bit of a concern. Of course, then again, in the modern game, maybe just giving the kit manufacturers a little more TV time. But keep an eye on Neymar, because if he does go down, that's a big blow, not just for Brazil, but for PSG. This is a friendly in this international window, but this is also a great test for both sides. Looking ahead to next year's Copa America, Chile have won 2 in a row if you count the Centenario, and Brazil as hosts, well, you know, they're going to want to try and lay claim to that South American title.
They are 1-1 in terms of winning football tournaments on their home soil in recent history. Obviously, disappointing end to the 2014 World Cup. They got the gold medal in the Olympics,
which was the one tournament that had eluded them.
Right, that was the one they wanted, maybe more than the 6th World Cup. And now that they have the Copa America now next year, they'll want to win that. kind of secure their place as the best team in South America. Chile obviously has that crown right now. But it would be disappointing for Brazil if they do not win the Copa America at home.
Out wide on that far flank, Saravia. Playing with Racing, who under former Philadelphia Union and Fort Lauderdale striker midfielder Chacho Coudet topping the table in the Superliga right now, thanks to Saravia. And here he is again on the ball.
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez is a ex-Racing as well over at Inter now. It seemed like when Sampaoli was the manager, every time Martinez played for Racing, he would score a hat-trick in front of Sampaoli. That certainly got his attention for the national team. So Racing and Independiente, always two clubs that were very underrated in terms of their development of players. Cunagüeros from Independiente, so
Sergio Romero in goal today from Racing, a cradle of goalkeepers. Long ball forward looking for Icardi. Marquinhos tries to clear. Touched back, Correa scrambling, and back comes Arthur to sweep things away. Now on the break, Coutinho. Neymar slips it in. Firmino, again, deceptive. Not so much in his speed, but in his control.
Certainly a key player for Liverpool when they made that run to the Champions League final last season.
Casemiro stripped.
Yeah, him and Sadio Mane, of course, Mohamed Salah as well. Roberto Firmino breaking onto the scene in terms of the attention he got on world football with German football with Hoffenheim. And he's turned it into a situation where now he's a regular call-up for Brazil. So
again, it's one of those where he doesn't look imposing. It's not really until after the fact where you realize what role he plays, and sometimes that could be with a little flick, a little touch, and sometimes a run where he never touches the ball. Firmino, that complete forward, well, maybe everywhere but scoring. Just 8 goals in his 26, which is one area where Gabriel Jesus tops him. But Tite himself went and said that maybe, just maybe, he did not play Firmino enough, and if he had, it might have been a different ending to the World Cup for Brazil. Yeah,
you mentioned he's not a prolific goal scorer. He wasn't at Hoffenheim. He has his good share of goals at Liverpool, but it's his presence on the pitch, what he does, his movement off the ball, his ability to connect and make those right passes. And as you said, even when he's not involved in the play, his positioning just helps the team look more dangerous in attack. Roberto Firmino, those are the kind of players where the numbers don't prove how valuable he is. And I know for a lot of Brazil fans, they were screaming for Firmino after Gabi Jesus just wasn't that effective in the World Cup. Let's see if in 2019 at the Copa America that makes a difference if he plays Firmino more. I'm sure Chichi, who's a very intelligent coach, is going to make that adjustment.
Nodded down, intercepted before Coutinho could bring it in. Cleared back to the 34-year-old João Miranda. You kind of sense that Copa is going to be his swan song. A late bloomer, but already up to over 50 caps. Neymar to the inside, eludes Saravia, top of the box, tries to poke it 3. Otamendi with the touch.
You see the value of Firmino there. Firmino saw that Neymar was cutting inside to the middle, so he floated out wide to the left. That allowed Felipe Coutinho to go through the middle, and Neymar couldn't get that ball through, filtered through to Coutinho. But Firmino's movement off the ball was crucial there.
Hard hit. Gabriel Jesus colliding again with Tagliafico.
Well, Tagliafico, the message is sent. That's the second time he's had a pretty physical tackle or encounter with Gabi Jesus out there on the left.
Maybe Neymar with a crew cut gets away with that, because it wasn't much more than a hair if it was offside.
Very close.
I kind of have a feeling also Tagliafico, after those 2 collisions, the next one might be a card. Approaching the quarter-hour mark. Brazil in the yellow, Argentina in the sky blue and white. Just 1 shot combined between them so far as they feel out this match.
Still getting bogged down in the middle, in the midfield.
Neymar across the 6, touched away just before Marquinhos, and it was Icardi doing the defensive work.
Mauro Icardi is a player that a lot of Argentine fans have been wanting for a while. We don't have to go back and relive the drama of why he hasn't been called up recently. But now with Higuain possibly on the way out, Kun Agüero not called in, this could be Icardi's time to shine.
Neymar, the header up and over. Looked like Miranda may be getting the touch. Well, what we can touch on with Icardi is that there has been the thought that it was Lionel Messi's presence and desire that has kept him on the sideline. Messi has come out publicly and said that's not the case, but
he has to say that. He has to say that, yeah.
And there's really only been, if I recall, one match where the two were on the field together.
It's been a struggle for Icardi to find the back of the net.
Down goes Arthur off that little give and go.
He still
has without Messi today. That does also handle another bit of controversy. Many believe that Dybala and Messi cannot play together because, well, I guess to put it simply, they are the same player. They occupy the same spaces. But without Messi, maybe a chance for Dybala to shine.
I think it's a shame because you would figure two.
Edge of the 18, slammed in, Otamendi, ball knocked free. Arthur, actually Coutinho rolling it back. Here's Danilo, but just too tall.
But you would figure that Messi and Dybala, two excellent football minds. Obviously what they can do physically is impressive, but two very intelligent footballers could get together and figure out how they can make Argentina better, and then both of them sacrifice a little bit for the benefit of the shirt. They haven't been able to do that. There's some egos involved there as well, and it's a shame because if both of them could find a way to work together, both of them are smart enough footballers to figure it out. If they could both just work it out and figure out how to play together, I mean, they could make Argentina unstoppable. Messi and Dybala, it would be amazing. Maybe they still have time to figure it out and iron out if they have any differences, but I think those of us that are football fans, we're being robbed of two great players playing together and some beautiful football that they could generate.
And Jorge Sampaoli never really had the chance to work that through, jumping in midstream.
Yeah.
You kind of wonder what would have happened if he would have had a full cycle, but was not meant to be. And for whatever import it might have, notice Dybala actually going all the way over to the left here today. As you pointed out, Correa a lot more comfortable on that right side. And maybe a little bit of matching up as well. Almost looks like a 4-2-4 from Argentina. Flipped with the outside of the boot. Trivela out wide for Gabriel Jesus. Argentina handles it well. Now Batalla.
Tagliafico right now one-on-one against Gabi Jesus, and he is controlling and dominating that matchup.
Nice run, Lo Celso. Miranda over, poked forward with backspin in the area. Casemiro with what looked to be a push. Down goes Correa. Felix Brick with a good view says no penalty.
That one is close. It looked like Casemiro may have extended that right arm and pushed Correa in the back to bring down the Atletico Madrid man. Little mini Madrid derby there between the Real midfielder and the Atleti attacker. I think Casemiro got away with one there. That looked like a penalty to me.
Just enough. And again, it's just a friendly, so no video review. Down goes Neymar. Again, drawing the attention. But Paredes this time. Third time on the foul, and it will be the caution against the Zenit St. Petersburg midfielder.
And Leandro Paredes from Roma came up with Boca Juniors a second time. He's got into it a little. It's stuck in there. The hip check, definitely a yellow card against Paredes. See, not at first. He definitely gets into the back of Correa there.
Scaloni not impressed with the call. Here, as you can see, Gabriel Jesus already losing the ball against Tagliafico, who just prevents him from getting there.
Yeah.
So not much to it, but again, Tagliafico with a couple of hard hits early, tempting fate just at the edge of the area.
And that particular play was good defending by Tagliafico.
Danilo holds Firmino across, but carries past Neymar, and a bit of a breather for Correa. Sarabia.
See, that's Firmino right there. You see, he timed his run perfectly. and got the ball through from Danilo. Gabi Jesus wasn't making those type of runs for Brazil.
Given away, Felipe Luis, early ball in for Firmino, second header, grabbed by Alisson.
Argentina doing a good job right now of just also getting the numbers back defensively. There were 3 Brazilian attackers in that play, and 5 Argentine defenders in the area. But they're going to make up, if they have a pace disadvantage, that back line, they make up for it with getting the numbers back and making sure that they keep themselves organized defensively. Well done by Argentina's defense so far, especially Tagliafico, just keeping Gabi Jesus in front of him.
Neymar dodging the blades on that far side. Coutinho forward for Firmino. Looked to be a push. Referee says no. Here's Paredes just pirouetting away. Dybala back. Danilo in. Scaloni calling for the foul, and Brick will blow the whistle.
One thing about Dybala playing out wide on the left is that he's a predominantly left-footed player. That's his stronger foot, so get him blazing down the left side. He could send in the crosses, even cut back in, and then take shot with his right foot. So put him out there on the left side with his stronger left foot. Makes him a little more dangerous.
You know, you saw the trophy before the match. If not, it's a beauty. The Super Classico, they are calling it, and well, of course, El Clasico, not that far away.
Yep. A couple of players on the both respective squads that will be participating in that one,
and the rest will probably be watching.
Yep.
In the Super Classico, well, this is a super matchup, arguably the best matchup out there in international football, even with Argentina in a downtrend. Lo Celso out wide. Saravia into Felipe Luis, brought down Correa, sliding in Dybala. Lo Celso maintains possession. Here's Paredes, the ex-Boca boy, into the center. Battaglia. Now Pizzella out wide.
Like Saravia for a few seconds. A few seconds earlier was wide open. Could have had an opportunity to run at Felipe Luis. They didn't cross the ball over to the right side quickly enough.
As the ball comes to this near side bottom of the screen, you can see the imposing form of Tite, 57 years of age, and he is a force of nature. So much of it he does just with his presence. There's a lot of football intelligence there, but it's his leadership abilities that have carried him to 4 state crowns, 2 Brasileiraos, a Sud-America, and a Copa Libertadores, but not the World Cup, at least not yet.
Also,
Alisson under pressure, almost poked free. Marquinhos gets it out of danger.
Alisson taking a little too much time. Put the ball at his feet, or at least when the ball rolls to him. This is a criticism of modern goalkeepers. Look at him take that touch away from the keeper. Maybe he's got, excuse me, away from Correa. Maybe just one time booted up.
That had to be an inch away.
Yep.
Alisson just getting his foot there before Correa could poke it into the net. Now under pressure, Battaglia dispossessed. Firmino, Arthur, and they're going to bring this one back for a hold. Free kick for Brazil, about 40 yards out.
You have to see Arthur and Felipe Coutinho. They have to be more aggressive. We need to see them get more touches between those two. They haven't really been very effective in this match. Neymar doing the heavy work in terms of bringing the ball up and trying to create something in attack. For me, Coutinho and Arthur are very good players going forward, creators. We need to see them have more of the ball for Brazil to look more dangerous.
Line at the top of the 18, delivered back post just over Casemiro. Carries, but they're going to call the Real Madrid midfielder for a push, and a free kick for Argentina in their own box.
Casemiro is one of the best holding midfielders, central midfielders in the game. he goes out for Brazil. And I know Brazil is deep, but there is something unique about Casemiro and what he can do. And if he is unable to perform for Brazil or Real Madrid, there's a big hole in the middle there. So he's got to be careful. I think he got away with a penalty earlier on Angel Correa. To Atleti midfielders, Atleti teammates, I should say. Felipe Luis and Correa. Arthur and Felipe Coutinho have to have more touches. Can't put it all on Neymar. As great as Neymar is, great Brazilian teams never really had one person that carried the team. Yeah, Ronaldo scored a lot of goals, but he had a lot of help with Rivaldo and Ronaldinho.
With Romario, you had the likes of Bebeto.
Yep.
Poked free around the line. Tagliafico spun to the turf. Free kick Argentina.
And that 0-2 championship team, World Championship team, also had Cafu and Roberto Carlos as your wing back. So Neymar is great, but you don't want it to all flow through Neymar. And even Chichi has come out and said it before in the past. If they start to depend on Neymar, they're in big trouble. Brazil is bigger than one player.
Of course, then again, you look at Argentina, and that's also been the debate because as it's launched in by Paredes to the back post, there were times where Maradona did carry Argentina single-handedly. Now, by 94, the likes of Caniggia, Batistuta and stuff, but in 1990, if it weren't for Maradona, they might have been knocked out in the group stage. Instead, they almost won the whole thing.
And they won it in '86.
And that's what Messi is competing against.
And it's unfair to Messi. Obviously, it's a different era. But Argentine fans and the people of Argentina, they don't care what Messi did for Barcelona. This touch right here. And Neymar, but there was another one that would send, I believe it was Firmino through, that was superb. But Argentine fans, they don't care what he does with Barcelona. They care about what he does in that Albiceleste kit. Same thing with Maradona. He's a national hero, not because of what he did with Napoli, because of what he did for the national team. So Messi has still some work to do to completely win over the Argentine fans.
Kind of take a look as Gabriel Jesus takes a hit in the back. Pelé recognized as one of, if not the greatest ever. In Brazil itself, Garrincha was the one that was more beloved. So even when you are the best, doesn't mean there's not going to be an argument. Gabriel Jesus, the 21-year-old, maybe he'll be up in that upper echelon before too long. Already 11 goals and 23 caps. And you figure the best is yet to come.
Yeah, it certainly is for Gabi Jesus. Talented player, but he's got to put it together at a major tournament like the World Cup, Copa America, in order to increase his profile, move up that ladder.
Neymar hangs it high, looking for Marquinhos, cleared away by Petzela. Petzela, interesting, trying to find a compatriot. Ball sails in, blasted by Miranda, knotted down off the head of Otamendi and right into the waiting arms of Romero. Oh, that should have been a goal.
Oh, well done there by Otamendi, getting on the line as quickly as possible, and then great reflexes there. But also Brazil, how about Miranda, your center back, getting all the way into that area and unmarked at the back post to get that shot on frame.
And he got it past Romero, but not past Otamendi. Driven low, but wide.
This is smart defending by Otamendi, quickly getting to the goal line there to defend and back up his goalkeeper.
Who said City and United can't get along?
Yeah. United keeper, City defender, yep. But Otamendi, look at him rush to the end line right there to protect the goal line. Well done by Otamendi.
And as you kind of pointed out, the touch from Miranda, that's a center back.
Yeah. It's
like
like
he draws the foul.
It's like a hierarchy in Brazilian football when you're a kid growing up. The kids that have the better touch, they go to the top of the formation. If you have decent touch, but you're not as good as everyone else, they drop you to the back line. So you're a Brazilian defender, you probably still have an excellent first touch.
Scaloni talking with Marco Fritz, the fourth official here today. Not exactly sure what he's complaining about.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these fouls from distance, thinking Brazil being a bit chippy. At the moment, only 4 fouls against Brazil, 8 against Argentina. Here is Paulo Dybala. No Messi. Dybala with a talented left boot.
He scored from this distance with Juve before.
30 yards out, near corner, just whistles wide. Allison might have had it covered.
And there's a reason why they call that man La Joya, because in these situations he can strike them. Look at, very close. I don't think Allison would have been able to keep that out. That was a jewel kick.
The breeze of the ball rippling the net, but on the wrong side of the post.
These two teams are just loaded with talent, loaded with not just excellent players, but players that can put on a show, that make it fun to watch. Dybala for Argentina, Correa. I'm a big fan of Correa and what he can do. And then obviously with Brazil and Neymar, Coutinho, Gabi Jesus as well. I think that's another aspect of this rivalry that makes it so much fun, is that it's not just excellent footballers. These guys really can put on a show and make it fun to watch.
Looks like because of the temperature, there will be the water break. So refreshment break in Jeddah. Temperature again hovering just under 90. You can see the sweat on Tite, and all he's doing is standing.
Yeah. It was a smart decision by Brazil to keep him on after the disappointment of the World Cup. They probably should have beaten Belgium, although Belgium definitely deserved to win that game, but they were definitely the more attacking, aggressive side in that match against Belgium. Just, you could say, unlucky. Also, Belgium, as I mentioned, deserved to win it. It would have been a knee-jerk reaction to let him go. He's been the best Brazilian manager that the national team has had probably since Felipao, the 02 Felipao, not the 2014 Felipao, but the 02 Felipao that won the World Cup. So,
well, Chiche studied under Felipe Scolari, although, while he is a proponent of strong defense, maybe a bit more adventurous than the former Palmeiras boss.
Absolutely, and with the national team, you can't be overly conservative or defensive. You have to give those players like Neymar and Coutinho, Firmino, you got to give them that space to express themselves in that uniquely brilliant Brazilian style. So he's intelligent enough to tweak his system and his philosophy to fit the team, and you can see his communication skills as well. I mean, he's become a beloved coach with the players. There's that press conference with Neymar in which he defended Neymar, and Neymar was so emotional he had to leave because of what Chichi said about him. So he has certainly brought the team together, and he's smart enough to know that he has to manage the emotions in the players as well as tweak his tactics. They are having fun in this stadium, the King Abdullah Sports City. That's what it's all about, enjoying 90 minutes of two of the greatest teams in the history of world football. You could coordinate the wave a little bit better, but still, as long as everybody's having a good time, that's the most important thing.
Actually younger than Dybala at 23, just coming into his own, somewhat lost in the shadow of the likes of Antoine Griezmann, but he has been vital for Atletico and could be rather useful for Argentina. Here's Scaloni.
The times that I've seen Atletico Madrid play this season, he's jumped out of the television for me. He's fantastic.
Wisniewski with the hard hit. Down goes Dybala. Felipe Luis pleading his innocence to no avail.
This is to be expected in the Brazil-Argentina match. We've seen Tagliafico take about 3 or 4 chops at Gabi Jesus. Neymar has gone down. Now Felipe Luis giving it to Dybala there. It's to be expected in the Brazil-Argentina. If they didn't have that kind of animosity toward each other and those little cheap shots, those little physical moments, it just wouldn't be the same. But it's hard for Argentina right now to generate anything up the middle. I know people will say that's where Messi could do his damage, but going out wide with Dybala and Correa might be the best maneuvers.
Top of the 18, charging in. Lo Celso might have brought it down with his arm, but also trying to draw contact. Felix Brich lets them play.
That came from a movement out wide. That's where Correa and Dybala, they're playing out wide. So that's where the strength is for Argentina in this attack, is out wide. Battaglia and Paredes, more of just midfielders that can link up the attack, link the midfield or the defense with the attack. Chelsea will have that liberty to go forward more than Paredes and Battaglia, but the strength of this Argentine attack is out wide with Dybala and Correa.
Chance here on the break, but it's just deflected. A lot of pressure, a lot of eyes on Nico Otamendi to see if he still has it. As you pointed out, maybe not that fleet of foot, but his brain obviously in hyperdrive.
Yeah, he's going to have to be very busy with that movement of Firmino. Of course, he has Battaglia and Paredes kind of helping him out in front of him in the midfield.
Into the area, no chance for Coutinho.
You see Neymar trying to pick out that long pass from Arthur, making the deep run through the middle, and that was open because Firmino had floated out wide. When Neymar drops that far back, especially down the left side, Firmino smart enough to recognize that there's space out wide on the left, and that opened up that middle for Arthur. So, and that's the value of Firmino right there. It's not something you could see in the stats, but when you watch the game and you see the spacing, the movement, you can see why he's critical.
Nice layout wide for Danilo, but now what? He retreats. They call this stadium the Shining Jewel, and as you can see, holding up very well. A bit longer than some of the traditional stadiums, about 120 yards long, a little narrower as well, only about 72 yards wide. Maybe a bit more encouragement to be direct towards goal. Then again, knowing what Brazil could probably do in a phone box, I don't think they need much space.
Yeah, I think that's actually part of the training for Brazilians.
Well, we've seen what they can do in an airport.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of the best commercials ever. Keeping the ball off the ground through the airport. Argentina's not too bad either. They could control the ball in a phone box as well.
Maybe just not with the bossa nova.
Yeah, with the tango probably like that.
Final 8 minutes of this opening half, regulation winding to a close. Coutinho goes wide, uses Felipe Luis. Argentina building a barrier, and the pass off target looked like Firmino maybe just taking his eye off. Actually, it was Coutinho who saw the ball whistle past. Now Dybala. A gift. Looking for Tagliafico instead. It's right to Jesus. Now to Neymar. Tries to slot it across. Second effort parried away Otamendi.
Oh, Neymar. He's got to give it to Firmino sooner.
Drives it himself, but this one errant and a goal kick.
Oh, it's a great interception of the pass there by Gabi Jesus, and he gets it out wide to Neymar. Firmino is coming into the box. If he lays it for Firmino, Firmino can one-time the shot. He had some space, even take an extra touch, maneuver around an Argentine defender, and then have an even better chance at goal. But Neymar held the ball a little bit too long there. If he just one-times it, he gets that touch and just leaves it for Firmino, who's coming in unmarked. It could have been Brazil 1-0 against Argentina. I mean, don't want to question Neymar's decision-making because of his individual brilliance, but that was one time where he just took too many touches there. Got to lay it off of Firmino in that situation.
6 shots so far. Possession in favor of Brazil, about 60-40 right now. 8-6 in fouls Argentina. And while there will be a large number of changes before this is over, maybe a few when the second half gets underway, I have a feeling we'll see even more offensive in the second half. Coutinho dodging the challenge, unable to thread that ball through as he would have liked. Here's Lo Celso.
They were trying to get it through the middle there because they know Gabi Jesus or Firmino, they have that ability to just, with their pace, to get in behind that Argentine defense, especially if you're talking about Petzela and Otamendi pretty quickly. But Natalia Paredes right there in front of them to offer more bodies to filter that ball through. So it's a smart tactical decision there by Scaloni to put Paredes and Batalla in front of Petzela and Otamendi. It's making it harder for for Brazil to build through the middle and break them down that way.
Either way, Neymar flips it to the center, rides the challenge, almost surfs his way into the box. Now Casemiro, but the strong challenge, Lo Celso out for the throw-in.
That's what Neymar can do. You see everybody in the crowd rising to their feet because of the brilliance there of Neymar, but at that last second, dispossessed there. Otamendi doing a great job in this match. He's played very well.
Little miss. Wide for Danilo. Now plying his trade at Manchester City. Arthur, quiet match for the Barcelona mid.
Yeah, definitely. Him and Felipe Coutinho not that involved. You're not seeing them help out in the attack as much. You want Neymar to get his touches, but you also want Arthur and Felipe Coutinho to get involved as well. Those two, Coutinho and Arthur at Barcelona. I mean, Arthur was the man to help Gremio win the Copa Libertadores last season. And certainly raised his profile in world football, and he's a talented player, but got to get him more involved. He's got to be a little more adventurous going forward, a little more aggressive going forward, him and Coutinho. Casemiro is an excellent player in the back there defensively, so you can take risks going forward, put more men in attack because you have Casemiro back there to back him up.
Again, back to Alisson, who was almost stripped by Correa. This time Icardi could not get close enough. This is a rivalry that dates all the way back pre-FIFA, 1914. Woo. The very first meeting between these two. Argentina ended up winning it in Buenos Aires 3-0. Brazil, I guess, a bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But they've more than made up for lost time.
Sure have.
And in fact, in the total official meetings between these two, they actually have the edge now, 40-38, when it comes to wins, with 26 level. It's the 105th official meeting between the two.
I think that two-game edge for, is it Brazil to have the two-game that had to come from the qualifiers in for Russia 2018, which Brazil, especially after Tite took over, just dominant. It's one of the most impressive World Cup qualifying campaigns you will ever see, especially in CONMEBOL, which is the most difficult.
The thing to consider is after those opening 3 or 4 matches, both of these teams were in total disarray.
Yeah.
And Argentina kept scrambling for answers. Brazil picked this man.
Yeah. And it wasn't easy to pry him away from Corinthians, but they managed to do it, and Corinthians obviously understood that. And ever since then, it was just rising football for Brazil.
For Otamendi, penultimate minute of this opening half.
Someone just tweet Dybala better than Neymar. I don't know about that.
Don't talk to him about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. He said don't. He said if you disagree, we'll leave that one alone.
Don't at me.
Don't at me. Yes.
90 seconds back as the two teams looked all the world to be comfortable heading in at level terms at the break. Now, You'd figure Tite, more than Scaloni, might be tempted to leave some of his stars out a bit longer. He's actually going to be the man that has lessons to learn. As the interim boss, Scaloni may be a little more considerate towards not overextending some of these players and spreading the joy around. We'll have to wait and see. Both of them with lots of talent on the bench. Here comes Neymar looking for a goal just before the break. Poked free. Sliding in Italia. Chipping it in Coutinho. Now it's Pizzella doing his best. Otamendi. Again, looking at the bench, you have the likes of Gio Simeone. Neymar with a back heel flick. Coutinho trying to caress it in. Hint of a handball. Was it on the chalk? It looks like they're going to say on the line for the penalty area. And Felix Brick is pointing. But is it to the spot or towards goal? And it looks like he's going to say just outside the area.
Ooh, very
inches
close.
Away.
Yes, it was very close.
I think Scaloni's argument is bang, bang, too close to really get out of the way. Let's take another look.
Oh, there's another.
There's two handballs there, perhaps, from that angle. Does this first one hit arm? It does, but it's so close. And you can't say that was intentional.
Yeah.
Renzo Sarabia's back is turned.
Yep. Pizzella has his arm around his torso to make sure it's not a handball.
And if anything, Sarabia, as I said, his body turned away.
Right.
And the arm extended to get out of the way. It's not his fault that the ball ricochets in, but, well, makes for an interesting close. The placement maybe leaves a bit to be desired for Brazil. 25 yards out on an angle from dead center. And it's been a quiet half to this point for Sergio Romero, but it's getting noisier by the second.
Pizzella, definitely not a handball. Sarabia, I wouldn't have called a handball either, but
Neymar. Romero leaning to his back post. Neymar curls it into the wall, headed down, cleared away. Whistle in hand from Felix Brick. It's still not sending them to the half. So a bit of a gift that Neymar could not unwrap.
this is going to be very interesting to see what happens in terms of the changes, not only to personnel, but to the tactics that both Lionel Scaloni and Chichi will make in the second half. I think Coutinho and Arthur, they have to be more aggressive going forward. Create some opportunities, use their individual skill to break down the midfield of Argentina and try to get something going through the middle.
And that will be the case. To the dressing rooms they go. Will it be Simeone or Lautaro Martinez for Argentina? Malcolm and Richarlison, along with the resurgent Lucas Moura, available for Brazil. Still plenty of firepower, but nothing catching flame just yet. Brazil and Argentina, two longtime rivals. But to this point, neither able to get the edge over the other. But there's still 45 minutes more to go. And you know what? Maybe then some, because there does need to be a winner in this friendly tournament. So penalties could await. But again, you look at the sides on the bench coming in. I'm not sure it's going to get to that point. Obviously, the travel is up there, making the trek to Saudi Arabia, especially for those that have made the trip from South America, but ending it in 90 minutes and also maybe sticking the dagger in regulation. Phil Shane, George D. Metellus mentioned some of those available. Lautaro Martinez and Gio Simeone, the point of the spear, but there are others. Franco Vasquez, who, I guess for lack of a better word, is Argentine again.
Yeah.
After a brief foray with Italy. Eduardo Salvio also available. He can play pretty much anywhere on that right. You have Freds, the Manchester United midfielder, and Malcolm, the Barcelona winger, both of whom are looking to prove their worth, and the promising young midfielder Wallace from Hanover. So plenty still to come as the second half about ready to get underway. Felix Brich checking his watch. Mauro Icardi checking Brich. And we are underway to start this second half. Does not appear as though either side made any changes. Alisson in goal. The Liverpool ex-Roma goalkeeper, fronted by Danilo, Marquinhos, Miranda, and Felipe Luis. Casemiro, Arthur, and Coutinho in the midfield. Jesus, Neymar, and Firmino up front. Jose Hernandez, Pablo Marinho on our Spanish-language side. Just dancing in time, Danilo. Bill Shane George, Imatelis with you. Chance here, fighting through the challenge. Gabi Jesus double teamed and tries to force it through. Tagliafico. Such tight surroundings, did not have much of another option, but Tagliafico kept the legs closed and shut Brazil. Romero in goal, Sarabia, Otamendi, Pazzella, and Tagliafico the back line. Natalia, Paredes, and Lo Celso the midfield. Dybala, Icardi, and Correa up front. Only caution to Zenit's Leandro Paredes in the first half. George, of the two sides, the fact that neither making a switch, does that surprise you on the nice touch from Lo Celso?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think you have to let these squads and these talented players get about 10-15 more minutes to figure out what they want to do here. I'm sure Chichi and Lionel Scaloni have said, all right, we want you to make these changes. We want these tactical tweaks as well. So you have to give it time to play out in the second half. So I'm not surprised that there aren't any changes at halftime.
Well, it looks like that's about to change on the sideline. Sarabia getting set to get this back in play. Chipped across, smashed down with the trailing run. Lo Celso, good cross by Correa, when Lo Celso could not get all of it.
Yeah. This is Correa winning the ball. He can get around Miranda, get around Casemiro, and Icardi because of his run.
Neymar. Sarabia got there first, and Neymar clatters in. Bit of a message sent. Been a good match for Sarabia. Mentioned, have to only go back to last month against Guatemala for his only other appearance for Argentina. And that right back position is pretty much up for grabs. Gabriel Mercado has had it, but at 31 years of age, the Sevilla defender, who, by the way, scored the only goal back in June last season between these two down in Melbourne. But Mercado, kind of a stopgap. Ball across, headed up and over. Danilo back on defense.
Mercado better served as a center back than a right back.
And really mentioned earlier, on the bench right now for Argentina is Edu Salvio, who was actually called in as a right wing back when they tried three in the back at one time. So the Benfica winger having to do some defensive work, which he did well, but not naturally. Splitting. Alisson finds Casemiro. Long ball forward for Gabriel Jesus. No chance for Firmino.
And so Marcos Rojo, I figure, might be in the mix in terms of the defenders. especially out wide on the right. I know that might not be his natural position out wide on the right, but we've seen him play out there before.
Mauricio Bustos is here today as the potential backup. Of course, the former Dallas resident Ramiro Funes Mori now plying his trade at Villarreal after some time at Everton could step into the back line along with the youngster and yet to debut Juan Foyth, the 20-year-old now with Spurs. So not just in the attack, another in the midfield is Santi Escasivar, the 21-year-old for Stuttgart, who many are calling the next Mascherano.
He can play and have the career Mascherano had. That midfield is locked down solid for a good 10-12 years.
Tangle in the midfield. Lo Celso seems to be in some pain. See that little divot. Meanwhile, Tagliafico rubbing some feeling back under the shin pad.
Tagliafico. Ooh, yeah, that's a tough clash there. Marquinhos and his teammate.
Take another look. And here Gabriel Jesus and Tagliafico very similar on the two challenges.
Well, that's got to be Jesus maybe getting a little bit of revenge on Tagliafico, because in the first half, Tagliafico was physical with him, chopped him up a couple of times.
Ball forward, cutting back, lifting it to the near post. Icardi trying to make something from nothing. He says it was deflected, and it looks like Argentina will get the corner.
Quick restart there by Argentina, and this is why Icardi can be so effective. You get him the service in the area, and he can either score a goal or at least win you a corner, and he did that there.
Player down inside the box, maybe tactical, but maybe not. Danilo seems to be in some pain. Eder is on the bench, the Porto right back. Looks like he would be the straight swap. They do have Alexandro available out on the left, who I would not be surprised to see. While Fabinho, now with Liverpool, more known as a midfielder, has spent some time at that right back position.
And when he was with Monaco, we saw him play right back frequently out there. Yep.
And then in the midfield, Wallace and Fred also available for Brazil. But to this point, no changes. That might change here again in a friendly. If Danilo is hurt enough to seek medical attention, why risk it?
This is a game that Douglas Costa would love, because Tagliafico, there's no way he can keep up with Douglas Costa on that right side. Costa would have himself one fantastic match down that right side, crossing in one-on-one against Tagliafico.
It's a bit of a concern, judging by the reaction of Danilo. He will have to exit since the treatment came on, but will it be for good? Just moments ago saw Claudio Tapia. Beautiful seat that he was sitting in. Didn't look that comfortable. I think
the lazy boy they put him on.
Absolutely.
Might be a little hard. Man, that is some great seats there.
And they will make the switch, and it will be Fabinho. 7th appearance. And Danilo limping gingerly. Outswinger towards the spot. Glances off the back of Petzela, and Allison scampers over. Take another look at this, because it didn't appear as though there was much contact when Danilo went down. Well, there he reaches in, and it's the ball that hits him, not the foot. And
then it rolls over.
And then as he is landing, you're right. So maybe a little twinge, just the ball tweaking the ankle, but then all of the weight comes down.
Ooh, that looks painful. That is painful right there when you roll your ankle like that.
As I've said, Manchester City using him situationally.
Yeah.
But twisted ankle might keep him out for a week or two.
You can make the argument a lot of people were not fans of Danilo when he was at Real Madrid. You can make the argument that Pep, using him at City, has made him a national team player. You can make that case. I've heard it before. Leave it up to the people watching to make that decision.
Correa making friends again. And I wonder if that one might have a little payback in the Atleti dressing room.
It would be something like that.
Poor ball from the Real mid. Arthur. Quieter role, not just for Arthur, but even Coutinho in the midfield. Yep. As much has gone, shall we say, coast to coast.
Yep. It is un-Brazil-like to play the long balls and bypass players like Arthur and Coutinho.
Just turned his body to shield it away, but then Lo Celso does him one better, and then Firmino returns the favor. Parried away, Sarabia in good position. Well, Brazil poking and probing, but unable to break through at the moment. Casemiro again. Neymar offside. Take another look. This was close. Maybe by a foot.
About that, Neymar always putting on a show. Neymar,
Ronaldinho-like.
Yeah. The last person I've seen do that was Cuauhtemoc Blanco. Pretty good at those espaldinhas as well. Ronaldinho did everything great. He played off of his ear and would look cool.
Miranda. Arthur. Felipe Luis. Like Firmino, both got their start at the unheralded Figueirense. Moving on to bigger and better. The line. Neymar stops, starts. Almost impossible to keep up with. Dances through Sarabia, but the ball stays put. Neymar's found it difficult to get past the 25-year-old right back.
Yeah. Well done by Sarabia. He got help from Battaglia there. He got around Battaglia, but Battaglia able to kind of keep him within arm's distance there and give him a little bit of a push there, give him a little bit of contact there to help out a little bit. But I'm wondering if Neymar isn't dribbling too much in this game. We've seen Arthur with very little touches, Coutinho with some few touches as well. I'm wondering if Neymar is just trying to do too much by himself, and there's so much other talent around him as well. I think there were a couple of occasions where if he passes the ball sooner, it would open up Brazil to be more dangerous in attack. I think there's too many situations he's dribbling too much.
Nice from Icardi, dances around, but then again, in some ways, isn't that what makes him great?
Yep.
Trying to do things that others would not.
But it can hurt the team in certain situations when he holds the ball too long, and then a teammate that's open is no longer open because he held the ball too long. So he's fabulous on the ball. He's impossible to dispossess, but sometimes the timing is off as well. I mean, the great number 10s in Brazilian history, all of them could dribble and hold the ball, but they also made those great passes at the right time to set up their teammates as well. And I haven't seen that from Neymar in this game.
Well, it looks like as we hit the hour mark, there will be our first series of changes. And for Paulo Dybala, a quiet day, which is not good news for the little jewel. And Lautaro Martinez stepping in. That is one of the dangers. If you cannot take advantage of your opportunities. Martinez, just 21 years of age, his third cap now with Inter. He has proven to be very, very difficult. Beautiful through ball, cut out well against Sarabia. Flying in on the challenge was Firmino, and he's going to get a talking to.
Sarabia and Tagliafico have played very well in this match. Tagliafico has been able to contain Gabi Jesus out wide on the right. Sarabia, with the help of Battaglia and on occasion Otamendi, has been able to keep Neymar from being as dangerous as possible.
Ball sails. Felipe Luis clears it to the near side.
Looking like Lautaro Martinez is going to play in behind Icardi in the middle. Correa out wide, maybe Lo Celso out wide on the right. Lo Celso a little more freedom to roam outside on the left.
Ball whips across, but no one there. Blasted from distance. Ooh. And it almost curls in at the back post for Paredes.
Leandro Paredes found himself in an excellent position with some space. No one really closing down on him. Easily around Gabi Jesus, and then long-range effort. He scored his share of goals like that for Boca and for Roma. The shot escapes him. It's a tough break for Argentina.
Almost 8 months to the day, and Copa America 2019 will open up. They just announced last month the stadiums, and São Paulo's Morumbi will be the site of the opener.
Home of São Paulo Futebol Clube.
Ball slips through, chance for Martinez. Good ball. Icardi lifts it around. Lo Celso, back post. Marquinhos stays in position. No one takes the shot.
And Miranda, when that ball bursted through and Martinez got into the area, Miranda turned around and he pointed at Icardi, telling Fabinho to go mark Icardi. He knows him from his day together at Inter.
Blasted off Miranda. Correa bursts into the box, chips it across. Icardi challenges Marquinhos again. Now on the side volley. Lo Celso, he's been the danger man offensively, but Brazil keeping him away from goal.
Certainly has been the most likely to score a goal for Argentina in this match is Giovanni Lo Celso.
By the way, the Copa America will end July 7th at the legendary Maracanã. And you know what? This might be the final. Ooh. Slips through for Neymar. Rattles around, well defended. Otamendi again. And it trickles back to Alisson.
Well done once again, Otamendi. And you have to say, if this scoreline holds up, at least after the 90 minutes, then Otamendi's put in a man-of-the-match performance. He's been excellent in the back. I thought it would be a point of weakness that Brazil could exploit, but hasn't been the case.
Foul against Correa, and his insistence will earn him a caution.
Now,
I would say Sarabia would be up there as well. Now,
yes,
you were going to say.
Sure. I was going to say, why is he complaining about a yellow card? He just pulled the man's shirt. It was obvious to the entire stadium. Don't complain about it. Just put your head down. You deserve to keep going. But to your point about Sarabia, I think he's been man-of-the-match material as well. He's performed very well, keeping out the likes of Neymar, this dangerous Brazilian squad.
Brazil, maybe Marquinhos and Miranda, but in all honesty, they have not been tested that much.
Right.
Which does not do well for Icardi and Dybala's future call-ups.
Yeah, for sure. Icardi is a player that when he gets his chances in the area, he finishes, but he still needs that service, and there's no one there to provide the service. Correa hasn't been able to do it. Obviously, Dybala wasn't able to do it because they took him off. He's looked dangerous. That one chance when Martinez came in, and obviously they know each other from for playing together at Inter, so it's frustrating for the number 9. It could be Higuaín, it could be Agüero, it could be Icardi, just not getting the service right now.
Japan and Qatar, the two invited teams. The United States again rumored, but because of the Gold Cup, would not be able to send an A team away, because again, for the invited teams, the Copa America just a friendly, so they cannot demand the club teams release the players. Again, you take a look at where things stand. Argentina, so many questions. Brazil, so much pressure. What we saw from Colombia the other day against the United States. And again, I sense that before we get to Qatar 22, Fabinho chopped down, and it looks like a caution coming against Lo Celso, just a little over-eager. I sense that this Colombia squad maybe needs a little refreshing, but at the moment they might be at a peak, which for Copa America time could be a chance for the title. Ecuador, Paraguay, Uruguay on the way up, perhaps with Osorio. Peru, who we saw against Chile in impressive form, and we will see again today against the United States. And then Uruguay, even with the stumble against Japan today, they're bringing in some new blood.
Yeah, they're always dangerous, Uruguay.
And Venezuela, you never know. They're not the pushovers that they used to be.
And that certainly is the case. And Atlanta United's Joseph Martinez is scoring a ton of goals. He could be in great form heading into that tournament. Venezuela, a team on the rise. So that's, I mean, it's wide open. To me, I know Brazil is the favorite. You would expect it a favorite, but watch out for Peru. I know they don't have Guerrero. Might be his last tournament. We'll see what that whole situation
The suspension should be over by then.
Yep.
They do have Gareca for now.
Yeah, that's the key right there. He's a great coach. Obviously a fantastic manager. And I think Guerrero's been the leading goal scorer in the last 2 tournaments. So
Neymar trying to free Sarabia. Does. Stops on the goal line. Plays it back from the ground. Correa just got enough. And then coming out Paredes before he's pulled back. And Neymar looks like he's going to go in the book. Being consistent. If he calls the same thing against Correa. First caution against Brazil. Maybe not as much there, but
from behind, so he has to make that move.
Is that a penalty? And you know what? If there was VAR, I think Battaglia has just given Brazil the chance.
Yeah, certainly has. He did not get any of the ball. He definitely makes contact with Coutinho. That looked like a penalty to me.
Kind of intriguing, from absolutely nothing to now almost integral to the game. Video review. Up steps Fabinho. Speaking, by the way, of the Copa America, especially now that they do have that Olympics under their belt, maybe now the focus falls on the Copa. Well, no one has won more World Cups than Brazil. Both Uruguay and Argentina considerably more successful in the South American Championship. Just 8 titles for the Canarinho. Fabinho maybe a little too tricky for his own good. Lo Celso tried the pirouette. A little roulette. Now off to this near side, and Neymar. Space and time, but Sarabia shuts him down again.
Wow.
I think that right back spot might be locked up for a while.
I think you're right about that. That was brilliant defending by Renzo Sarabia. Didn't fall for the tricks or the pace of Neymar, and dispossessed him pretty cleanly. Not pretty cleanly, cleanly. Well done by Renzo Sarabia. We're talking about man of the match for Argentina. I said Otamendi. I think after that, I might have to switch to Sarabia after that play right there.
Still a quarter of this match to go. Is there a goal in it? Not if Marquinhos has anything to say. Out wide, Fabinho tucks in Casemiro. Under pressure, but finds Coutinho. Again, Neymar with the extra gear. He's got something to prove. Hard hit Sarabia. The ball sails across. 2 misses on the back post, but they're going to bring this one back to the original challenge, and Neymar is hurt.
Just been singing the praises of Sarabia, and then Neymar turns on the burst past Renzo Sarabia. And he needed to make that challenge there in order to.
And he might have come out hurt.
Yeah.
Might have pulled something trying to keep up. Good refereeing in my mind. Argentina may be arguing, but in effect he gave the advantage. But because of the challenge, Neymar needed to rush the cross.
And he sweeps through Neymar. That's a clear yellow card.
Maybe looks to be more dangerous in live play, but Again, it shows what Neymar is capable of.
And Neymar didn't need to sell that.
No.
He didn't need to sell it. That was a clear yellow card on Sarabia. The first time in this match that Neymar has been able to win that one-on-one versus Sarabia. So Sarabia has played well, but Neymar, all he needs is that one chance, and he's going to run and destroy a defense.
Well, looks like Salvio is about to check in just moments after Pereira did. And it was Richarlison who came in for Gabriel Jesus. And what a start he's had to life in England.
He certainly has been fantastic for Everton
and for the Verde Amarillo.
Yep, absolutely. Maybe he's the next number 9 if Gabi Jesus doesn't get his consistency.
Neymar 25 yards out on an angle, sets it up on the volley. Romero denying Arthur. Oh, what a shot that would have been.
Great service by Neymar.
And now,
unmarked.
Argentina, the tackle from Miranda, and that's going to come back. João Miranda is going to go in the book for denying what would have been a breakaway. And now all of a sudden, busiest man in the park is the referee. Well, you called it. Might not be a goal, but there might be a red or two.
That would not be a surprise in a match like this. It's a great ball by Neymar. That's definitely something they practiced on the training ground. Look at Arthur, that right-footed bending.
Almost.
And maybe that swerve helping Romero out a little bit, because it swerved basically right to Romero, but still great skill there by Arthur just to get it on frame.
For Romero, hurt just prior to the World Cup, which again could have changed Argentina's fates. Was not exactly a tour de force from Willy Caballero.
Yeah.
But at the same point, we're taking a look at a goalkeeper who really has not been a starter for his team in 6 years. A backup at Monaco, a backup at Sampdoria, a backup at United for the last 4 years plus, but he's still, I guess you could say, undisputed #1 for Argentina.
And that's a surprise, especially when you consider someone like Geronimo Rulli, or as they say in Argentina, Rushi, but who's getting regular PTs, a regular start at Real Sociedad, so, and younger too.
All sails, no chance for Firmino. Romero out quickly.
But Romero has shown in certain situations, big game situations, that he can make crucial saves, so it's a comfort level for whoever the Argentine manager is.
And now Salvio will come in for Icardi. Oh, Lo Celso make that. So more of a winger for Benfica. This might shake things up just a little bit. Promising start for the Betis attacker, but fizzled a bit as the match moved on.
We have, I think it's looking like Toto Salvio comes on. Well, he's about to come on here. I'd be surprised if Argentina look like a 4-4-2 here. You have Pereira on the right, Salvio up wide on the left, or maybe they flip-flop, and then Martinez and Pereira up top. Maybe even a 4-2-3-1 with Batalla and Paredes, and then Pereira, Martinez, and Salvio as the 3 attacking players behind Icardi.
See Richarlison pulling up that right side. Arthur couldn't find him. Neymar quick feet. But the pass catching Coutinho by surprise. He tries to get there, but commits a foul in the process.
It's a, I don't know, the experiment of putting Gabi Jesus out wide on the right, now Richarlison out wide on the right, hasn't really paid dividends for Chichi in terms of the attack or a goal. But obviously it's experimentation. I don't think that we'll be using Richarlison or Gabi Jesus out wide come Copa America time.
not sure about Chichi's German.
Yeah.
But Marco Fritz obviously understood. What if they might have been speaking English?
Yeah,
I know, because Chichi has spent a lot of time in the United States. His son, who's now one of his assistants, Mateus, a former star player at Carson Newman down in Division II. So would not put that past him.
Isn't it compulsory in German schools to learn English as well, multiple languages? So, yeah.
Actually, consider, you know what? From Rio Grande do Sul, he might have spoken German.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Into the area, Neymar pulls it away, dispossessed. Salvio, the early touch, tries to get around Felipe Luis, and then forced to retreat. One touch into the middle from Saravia. Goes awry. Now a chance for Arthur. A little bit of space. Slots it into the middle. Slashing run Richarlison, but he cannot get around Tagliafico. Falls for Firmino. He stops. Firmino just can't get the shot away. So resilient defense from Argentina when it looked like they were about to collapse. And Neymar, maybe not much there, but just enough. And Lautaro Martinez whistled for the foul.
Yeah, he clips Neymar from behind.
Right there.
Slight touch there.
Again, it is an art to running in the wake. Just enough contact where you hope you don't get the call.
Well done. That was a good through ball for Richarlison. And Firmino doing well to maintain the possession for Brazil. Another dangerous set-piece opportunity here for the Seleção.
Sergio Romero, now 31 years of age, part of that Racing club before moving to Europe. Neymar from a good 35 yards out. Maybe if it was 50.
Yeah. And there were uprights. But a break there for Neymar. Neymar, I wonder if him playing out wide on the left is the best position for him.
Thomas Tuchel seems to disagree.
Yeah, even when he was at Barcelona, he was out wide on the left with Messi and Suarez. Although with those three, you basically just put them on the pitch and let them do their thing.
Although both Tuchel and Tite have tried to give him a little more free rein to slot into the center as a creator.
Maybe putting him there from the start might be better. I mean, traditionally, the Brazilian number 10s, you put them in the middle. Obviously, they're brilliant, so they'll make the right choices in terms of their movement off the ball into space. But maybe Neymar just seems a little bit too pinned on the left side. You want him all over the pitch, not just on one half of it. And maybe by his starting position, it cuts down a little bit of his space and effectiveness. Pass here by Arthur was fabulous. Great touch on it. I think Arthur maybe even had the time to settle it down and then pick where he wanted to go with the ball, but that was something they worked on the training ground. So that was what Arthur wanted. It certainly has been a cagey affair between these two. We've seen a ton of yellow cards, fouls, brilliant footwork from players from both sides. Now we're just waiting for that game-winning goal. And I think Lionel Scaloni knows that he has this is a job audition for him to become the permanent manager of Albicelestes.
Next month, Mexico looms. Well, Brazil will be taking on Argentina. Mexico in action against Chile tonight, with the rumors that former Argentine boss Tata Martino might be the one taking over. The Atlanta United boss had been rumored to take over Argentina again, perhaps Colombia.
Yeah. Many
had thrown his name into the mix for the United States national team, but it looks like El Tri is going to get the man.
If I were him, I wouldn't leave Atlanta. I think he's got a great situation in Atlanta. He might if he wins the MLS Cup, I can see why he
You just like the night scene, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. Atlanta has great nightlife, yeah, for sure. But it's a great setup for him over there in Atlanta. And I can understand if he wins the MLS Cup going to a 3, but if he doesn't, I would stay.
Otamendi again, but it eludes Paredes into the area. Richarlison dances around Tagliafico. Richarlison only about 5'10", 5'11", but plays much bigger than that.
I was going to say he looks like 6'3", just from this
late bloomer, maybe.
Late bloomer, yeah. But you mentioned 5'10", 5'11", but as you said, plays bigger than that. Body positioning. He looks like a big stocky guy, so he can get himself in the right position, and then obviously he's shown the ability to finish. A player that also needs some good service as well. Maybe not as much as Icardi, but both of them are lethal finishers when they get their chances.
Free Salvio. Felipe Luis getting back in time. Of course, Salvio spending a bit of time with Atleti, but never quite able to connect. Reborn in Benfica. Neymar again just sucking in the defender to draw the foul.
But Neymar dribbling there, and then Coutinho and Arthur just standing watching him. Somebody has to make a move into the middle. I mentioned that Neymar dribbling too much. Yes, I think there are certain situations where he dribbled too much, but if Arthur makes a run into that space and behind that second defensive line, he could get it to Arthur, and then they could link up with Richarlison. So Coutinho and Arthur haven't been as active going forward as I'm sure Brazil fans would have liked.
Benfica's day is done. Marcos Acuna checking in. More of a winger for Sporting than a wing back. Although we have seen that in some of his prior responsibilities with the Albiceleste.
Started at wing back, left back position against Iraq, so he's familiar with it. But as you said, more of a player that is better going forward as a winger than a wing back. Yeah. Only two substitutions so far for Brazil. And now Coutinho or Arthur would be out.
Neymar gets rid of it just in time before Otamendi pounces, and it does throw the pass off just enough. As you heard, almost 62,500 in attendance in this beautiful stadium. Ball forward, curling his run. Richarlison back to his right, but then tried to go to the well too often. Otamendi knocks it free. What a ball, Neymar. Ooh. But Felipe Luis, just not enough fuel in the tanks.
Felipe Luis was open for about a minute and a half down that left side. Richarlison dribbling back to the right side and into the teeth of the defense. They could have gotten it to Felipe Luis a lot sooner. He was unmarked for a good, like I said, about a minute and a half. This is a great ball by Neymar. And you wonder, Felipe Luis saying, I'm open, and then thought the play was over. Maybe that's why he was late to react to the pass by Neymar. But they've got to get that head up and get it to him sooner. He was wide open.
Still two changes, including Franco Cervi, who scored the final goal against Iraq just a couple of days back. Maxi Mesa. So maybe still something left for Argentina with 7 minutes left. And as you said, for Chiche, 84th minute now, and he's only taken 2 players off.
They are loaded with talent on the bench. I don't understand it. You have Lucas Moura, who is a player with pace that can run at the defense, not afraid to go one-on-one. If you want someone to replace a Coutinho or Arthur, you have a Renato Augusto, who is someone that Chichi trusted a lot in World Cup qualifying, and they played very well.
And Wallace and Fred.
Yeah,
they called Lucas Moura back into the mix.
Yep. So it's definitely a head scratcher.
Casemiro. Oh, so close. Looked like it might have taken the slightest of deflections. And it almost nestles into the corner. Spins off the backside. And almost in at the back post.
Oh, Romero was frozen. He was leaning to his right. That ball going to his left. Unfortunate for Brazil. Very fortunate for Argentina.
From the corner, cleared Otamendi. Top of the box, Miranda. Maybe had the best chance for Brazil, where he beat Romero, but not Otamendi. This time, the curling run, Fabinho, but he runs out of space. On the way, Fred started the match against Iraq. Wallace came on. Lucas Moura as well in the second half. But Malcolm, to this point, has not played in either match. And they had also the backup right back to Danilo and Fabinho. Could conceivably put him in and move Fabinho to the midfield. So many options. And that will be one of the questions, I'm sure, for Tite, especially if someone comes up lame in these final 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, you have to say, if you're being critical of the midfield, you have to say Coutinho and Artur, in terms of their play, have come up lame. They have to be more involved in the attack. I guess they've done their job defensively. They haven't had to worry too much about any threat from Argentina down the middle. So
that could change here. Driven across Acuna. Felipe Luis just plays it safely out. It's going to be a corner kick for Argentina. At the moment, just their second. 19 shots, but only 3 on goal. Possession increasing now, 63% Brazil, but the scoreboard is level.
I wonder how much of that possession is on the feet of Neymar. And he hasn't been effective in this match. Neymar, when he's trying to run into the middle, he's surrounded by 4 or 5 people. And as great as Neymar is, to consistently beat 4 or 5 Argentine defenders is almost impossible.
Paredes from the corner. Ball rattles around the penalty spot, cleared by Miranda. Well, Neymar with more touches than anyone. Another chance here, but flipped on, hangs in the air for Alisson, who uses his height to grab hold. 95 touches for Neymar. Argentina closing things down to the point where only 53 passes. 5th substitution for Argentina, and it will be Gio Simeone. If you actually kind of squint your eyes just a little bit, you can see the resemblance, but not when he plays. His dad was a destroyer, pretty good passer, but a destroyer and one of the best. And his son is turning into a rather opportunistic finisher. Must be from the mom's side.
Yeah, I think so, Mom probably played striker in her days,
So Icardi leaves, Simeone in. We already talked a little bit about Dybala. Icardi, anything to write home about?
No. Icardi ineffective mainly because he just didn't get the service. That's the main thing for Icardi.
Neymar with some flash, the sizzle to Coutinho, but he telegraphed Paredes, able to intercept, and now touched away Acuna.
I'm a little surprised that Icardi is the substitution here. I know he was ineffective, but it wasn't really his fault. It was because he didn't get that much service. I thought maybe a Paredes would come off or somebody like that, but Scaloni made his decision.
Luis, Neymar, Salvio over to defend. But then
loses the ball.
Too much mustard on that hot dog. Salvio down the near sideline, trying to get away. Casemiro builds a wall, and it's Neymar the other way.
That's why Casemiro is so important. He can clean up all the mistakes. There was a dispossession by Neymar. Casemiro's there to get it back.
We talked about it before with all of the legends, even Pelé and talked Garrincha, but People forget about the likes of a Tostao or a Rivellino and ball forward. But for the great Brazil teams, I talked about goalkeeper, that was one, but they also needed the Clodoaldos. They needed that one guy in the middle that could just lock things down.
Yeah, absolutely. And perform that duty, but also collect the ball, hold the possession, and then link up and go forward as well. Those great holding midfielders of Brazil also had the ability.
Another.
Exactly, another one, yep. They had that ability to hold the ball.
Dunga pretty good back in his day.
Yeah, well, World Cup winner, with the captain of Brazil in '94. Not only hold the ball, but also pick out the pass from that deep center midfield role as well. They were versatile. Obviously, defensive duties were number one, but versatile in their ability to pass the ball forward as well. It's a very underappreciated part of the great tradition of players that Brazil has had.
Casemiro just 26, and he will go down as one of the best.
Yes.
Richarlison relying on his speed, perhaps a little too much. 4 minutes to be added. And again, just the two substitutions for Brazil. All sails. Neymar gives chase.
It really is a shame Douglas Costa isn't on the pitch or available for Brazil. Wasn't called up.
Firmino.
He made a big difference down that right side.
Richarlison deflected and just touched wide. Pinballing it. And Otamendi to the rescue, barely.
Oh, Richarlison coming to life here in this second half, late in this second half. Great turn. Had to send it on frame. Good things happen when you do. Richarlison taking advantage.
Sails high in the air. And at 6'3", Sergio Romero. His nickname in the family is Chico, because even at 6'3", he's the smallest of the brothers.
The smallest one.
Diego played some basketball at Florida State before turning pro back in Argentina. 6'9".
Wow.
So I think Sergio said, you know what, basketball might not be for me.
Yeah, especially if you go to Florida State, but we'll leave that one alone.
Nice little touch, chance on the far flank. Down goes Acuna on the sliding tackle. Near side Neymar, things open up just a bit. Tries to get around Sarabia, blasts it in, and it rattles away off Petzela.
Sarabia, an excellent job on Neymar. It was going to be tough for Neymar to get a service into the area. There's only one other attacking player joining him. 6 Argentine players dropping back, so spaces weren't there.
From the corner, Neymar in, knotted down, and past Romero and João Miranda. 93rd minute. Better late than never.
Well, Brazil needed a goal off of a set piece. João Miranda is someone who has that knack to do it. And it finally happened for Brazil. Been stifled at pretty much every angle in terms of run of play. But João Miranda, the Interman, comes through with the big goal off the header. Not the best marking by Argentina, but it doesn't matter to Brazil. They'll get the goal. And that right now is the game winner late in the second half. João Miranda showing why he is a trusted player. Look at, 3 players leave him unmarked. Romero, can't blame Romero for that one. Look at that, ball sails over 3 players and Miranda unmarked. How can that happen? Who is responsible for marking João Miranda? Simeone was there. Herrera was there as well. And it's got to be heartbreaking for Argentina.
Talk about Miranda, and he was almost an afterthought. You think about how many Brazilians go around the globe, but it took him until 2009 before he got his first cap. And he had the likes of Luisao and Edmilson, even Roque Jr. was in the mix back then. The emerging Thiago Silva, David Luiz, tail end of Aldair, etc. Lucio, remember him?
Yes.
And
Bayern Munich.
Miranda had to bide his time, but partnered with Diego Godin and turned into one of the best tandems, and he was impossible to ignore forever.
Yeah. Earlier in the match, I mentioned how Danilo at Real Madrid was not really highly regarded in terms of even being on the radar for the national team. Then he goes to Pep Guardiola and turns it around in City. You could say the same thing for Miranda in terms of the coaching of Diego Simeone and being next to Godin at Atletico Madrid. That certainly helped put Miranda on the radar for the national team.
Just his third international goal for Miranda. And it will win this Super Clasico against Argentina, bar a goal in the final seconds the other way. Yeah. Scored against Colombia back in 2016 and back in March against Russia. But here today against Argentina, one to remember. And remember, denied Otamendi's heroics in the first half, but he would not be denied here.
Best attacking player for Brazil in this match in terms of dangerous goal-scoring opportunities. The most dangerous ones has been João Miranda. You mentioned it, denied by Otamendi in the first half, and then the goal here in the second half. Brazilian center backs, they have a knack for putting the ball over the line into the back of the net. Right? However means they do it.
Marquinhos intercepted by Otamendi. Checking his watch is Felisbrick. There can't be much more time. And again for Tite, eventually putting in those two substitutes in the second half. But electing to go with kind of an Iron Man brigade. And that's going to do it. Final whistle. And Brazil in added time. The goal from Miranda off the cross from Neymar beats Argentina.
Yeah, well deserved for Brazil, getting that goal by João Miranda. It wasn't the prettiest match for Brazil. Argentina as well can take solace in the fact that they did a good job of defending Brazil on the run and play.
So the final score from Jeddah, Brazil 1, Argentina nothing. Hope you enjoyed it.